right, good morning. You're listening to the Digital Revolution Show on KCNR 1460. This show is really about you, your business, and the internet, and how it's impacting you. So feel free to call in with any of your questions about how the internet works. You can call us at 530-605-4567, or you can go to the digitalrevolutionshow.com. That's just digitalrevolutionshow.com and find out more information. The goal of this show is to demystify the internet for businesses and put you back in control of how the internet impacts your business. But more importantly, we want to make sure that Shasta County's businesses become a shining example of how an economic force, or to be an economic force in our community, in our United States. So we do have a new member to this show, which is Sean. And Sean, why don't you wave to the camera up there? We're actually, if this wasn't enough pressure to do a radio show, we've gone ahead and done Facebook Live. We're recording, this will be our fourth show, and we're up there recording it. So, Sean, can I call you the intern at large?
Yes, you can. I think you should.
Yeah, and is that kind of what this week was like?
I mean, that's what this entire past 4 months has been like.
Has it been?
It's been a crazy whirlwind.
Yeah? Why?
Well, I'm doing things that I did not expect from my first job ever, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, it feels like I'm being thrown into the thick of it with lots of interesting, smart people, and I think that's the biggest thing, is I'm rubbing shoulders with people who know a lot about, whatever industries they're in, about business. They have decades of experience, and here am I, the intern, and I'm like, just kind of trying to fit in there.
Yeah, well, you're doing really good.
Knowledge. Yeah, well, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, now it's been fun to watch you. So we're gonna get, this show, I do this every week. I prepare a show. I think I know what I want to talk about, and then as the week comes to an end and it gets time to actually start the show, I start doing an inventory of all the questions I was asked during the week. And so that ends up messing up how I think I want to do the show, because I think to myself, well, I have got to answer these questions that people are asking. And you see them come into our office all the time asking questions about what's happening. So we're going to get into that. I want to find out what you have to tell us about what's going on with the startup culture today. So we're going to hear some more about that. And before I move on to the promotion and who we're brought to by on this part of the show, I want to point out the reason that we talk about startups so much, and the reason I'm asking you to go out and find out what's going on with startups and report it, is because in a way startups are a resource that we have right here in our community that can make us better, can bring more economic value to everybody. It's like finding gold when startups can be successful, right? And do you see that happening out there?
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that, because it really is a resource that we have in this town, all the startups. And it's not just a resource having the startups, but having a community of startups.
Yeah.
That network has so much more power.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to get into that. You're
jumping the gun here.
You are jumping the gun, but that's good. That's good. I'm glad. Okay, so this portion of the show is brought to you by Cloudwise Academy. Cloudwise Academy is a technology training school. I happen to be the CEO and one of the founders of it. The idea of Cloudwise Academy is to teach you the really relevant technology skills that you need to be more hireable, or start your own company, or run your company better. This particular promotion is for a search engine marketing course that we'll be running in January 17th, I think it is. Is that right, Sean?
I think that is.
Yeah, I think the last week. You can go to cloudwiseacademy.com to learn more about it. But here's the thing. The reason I'm so passionate about this particular course, and the reason I think that just about every business or anyone that has anything to do with marketing or websites or anything should take this course, is that Google is the gatekeeper to not only your customers finding you, but also your customers learning more about your products. And so we actually, in this course, will teach you the basics of understanding how that works, how search works, what it's going to do to your business, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm really excited because the instructor for that course is actually going to be our guest today. I'm telling you, this guy rocks. We actually have this instructor teaching our own students and sometimes teaching me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've taken it. Every week he works with you and the team, right, Sean?
Right. He is a wise SEO sage.
That's great. I know, right?
He's the best.
He is really good. So, okay, the date of that starts January 17th. Those classes are from 6 to 9. They're Tuesdays and Thursdays. That course runs for 6 weeks. We're going to teach you the basics of SEO, and the cost of that class is $275, and that's for the whole 6 weeks. So go to Cloudwise Academy and look that up. Okay, so I want to jump right in to my intern at large findings this week. So tell me a little bit about what you were doing to prepare for the show this week.
All right, so 2 things. First of all, on Tuesday, I went to this event at the Shasta Venture Hub called Startup and MVP.
Mm-hmm. So what is MVP? Let's make sure we make sense of that. What is Startup MVP? Do you know what that means?
Only vaguely.
Okay,
That's
so
just the name of the thing.
let me jump in there. So Startup MVP means minimal viable product.
Mm-hmm.
Minimum viable product. And so that's a lot what this startup thing is making sense of, that you don't have to, or that concept of minimal viable product is something we talk about a lot. I want to just jump in there for a second. That means that you don't necessarily have to have perfectly crafted your product in order to be able to go out there and start selling it and see if people buy it. What you want to do is get your product simple and buyable, as whatever few features it takes to make it buyable, and that's when you want to introduce it to the market. So that's what they mean by MVP, not
Exactly.
most valuable player. All right,
well, that's
go
what
ahead.
I was thinking. But it was pretty much a bunch of people in the startup world and sort of on the peripheries of the startup world in a room talking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean, I talked to a person there who runs a sort of a voice recognition company, basically, startup for that, and Richard Anderton, yes. And so he basically said, whenever you are working with someone who you don't know, there's always a little bit of delay in getting things off the ground, just because it's stiff and awkward and you're sort of trying to figure out who people are.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, sometimes the Hollywood stereotype of business people is like, business automaton, bottom line, all that, but we're all human.
Yeah.
And so basically the point of this event was getting it so that everyone in this world is kind of friends, and if they need to partner to create more value or whatever it is, it's as simple as picking up the phone and saying, hey, Larry, I have this great idea.
Yeah, and that's, I keep asking myself, how do I make sense of the fact that I make such a big deal about startups, because not every business out there is a startup, and not everybody wants to start up a company. But what you're describing there really does outline why I talk about startups so much. So one of the things is, the reason I like to talk about startups is so that other people who might be considering to start up something, or other businesses who have new ideas or new products, can start to hear and see other people and companies doing it, and then they might see some examples of how they could do it too. But also, the big thing,
right.
I want them to know that regular people are doing this, and technology is making it simpler and better and easier than ever before if you know the rules and tools. So that's why I like to talk about this. Okay, thank you for listening to this segment. We're about ready to go to a break, and we'll be right back.
Have you found yourself stranded with a dead battery and need a job?
How was that?
Okay. I have a lot of stuff prepared.
You're going to have more. I got more to go over with you.
All right. Cool.
We can answer questions on Facebook too while you're all up there. And I'll have to remember to not pick my nose. Yeah, we're not done with your segment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Wait, can they hear us?
Yeah. Wave, say hi.
Hey. Got surveillance from all angles here.
Uh-huh.
Peter, give us a call before winter. We can give you a free estimate.
How's the
Rutland
headphone
Down in
volume?
Corning is very busy
Good.
with all the truckers,
I had it
farmers,
way too loud at
gas
first.
season in
I turned it
full
down a
swing.
little
I didn't even notice.
Riverville
Okay.
got his new awning up and all the lights are working for all the early birds. The Reading plant.
You know what happens when you get started? I didn't even hear my own voice.
You know, when I talk, because sometimes like read the weather or something, like on Carl's show, I can't hear my voice
We
at
have a
all.
lot of bulk oil
Yeah.
in your container or ours.
Which is probably
We're
good.
open on Saturday
Good
till
stuff,
3:30
yeah.
at the Reading
No, I've gone back and
Northern Lights Energy.
I thought I heard you this week. Were you on this week?
I was on yesterday.
Maybe, yeah, it wasn't yesterday.
Yeah.
Bog out?
I'm on every Friday.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Corning,
I mean, I don't usually participate in like political discussions, but I'll say like, hi,
Thanks a
good
lot.
morning. You know, read the weather, that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes Carl will be on the spot, but
Yeah.
Veteran Challenge. You know us. We're your local guys. Don't call the 800 number. We want to give the gift of free satellite service to an active military family this winter. Here's how it works. For every 10 new services
Really?
D&T Satellite receives,
That's to you, Andrea, in your comment.
military families in our community to wear a full year of
Oh
service
boy, I can
free.
only imagine.
That's right. We'll pay for their service for a year.
What do you do when your sister's texting you and telling you that everyone else is making you look better?
Take advantage of the amazing Flex plan starting at only $39.99 a month. Here's a way for you to support our military
Alright, we
this
got 20
holiday
seconds.
season and New
Okay.
Year with a gift that they can enjoy all year long. Call us today, 241-3474. That's 241-3474. Or stop by our office located at 1007 Dana Drive in Reading. D&T Satellite. We're the local guys and we care about our customers.
All right, you're listening to the Digital Revolution Show, and I'm your host, Joe the Web Guy, Joe McKenna, and I've got Sean with me, the intern at large.
Hey.
And then, of course, Jared makes this all happen. And normally on radio, you have no idea how good looking or not we are, and you can't see us dancing to the music, but we are on Facebook Live right now while we're doing the show. I'm taking my own advice and saying don't be a chicken and just put technology to work. And so there you go. Okay, so this show is about your business. It's about our businesses here in Shasta County, and it's about the internet and how it impacts your business. We want to answer your questions. We'll try to answer them on Facebook, or you can call in at 530-605-4567. And the goal here is to make sure that Shasta County does become a shining example of an economic force. That power lies within you, the business, and the startup community and culture. Okay, so last segment we were talking to Sean about the startup community and the startup culture here. That's really what he's been asked to do, is keep track of that startup culture, startup community, and report to us on this show so that our local businesses can see into that world and maybe take tips or help out. As a community, we can help out these startups. Which reminds me, we had a startup on last week called AdJoy. And AdJoy is one of those maybe going to be $1 billion company. I mean, they're definitely swinging for the fences. A new disruptive idea to make ads not suck in video games. And so AdJoy's been around for 6, 7, 8 months. You know, they've gone the route of being funded. That some of the local angel investors have invested in them. You know, they've set themselves up with a corporate structure. You know, they're definitely playing by the real big kid rules. But what's really interesting is they came on the show last week, and we challenged our listeners to support them, because the better AdJoy does, the better we do as a community. And AdJoy has a video game that they themselves have for download, and if you play that video game, local advertisers like Papa John's or maybe Dutch Brothers or things like that, different coupons pop up in the game. Okay, so I'm telling you all this because I think it was yesterday the CEO of AdJoy came into our office and said, do you know that we haven't even promoted that game yet, and since your show people have been downloading the game? Were you in there when he came in and said that? Sean?
Yeah, I was in my own little world, of course.
That
but-
goes without saying, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very cool. Thank you for going out there and supporting Adroit. If you download that game, then they have more games out. That means that the people who are advertising in their games get more customers, so everybody wins. Okay, so let me tell you where you can download that game. You can go to www.playbankz.com, and that's playbanks with a Z, BANKZ.com, and go download that game. It's a little piggy game where you fly around and pop bubbles. Okay, so that was very cool, and thank you everyone for supporting our local startups, because it will matter to you. Okay, Sean, let's back up. Let's get back to you. Tell me more about what's going on.
All right, so another thing I wanted to say just about that event I attended, Startup MVP,
Mm-hmm.
is that there were a lot of new faces there,
Yeah.
which is exciting. There were a bunch of people my age with their own businesses, a bunch of people much older with much more experience, and that's kind of what you want, right? Like
Right.
in a room, mingling the mentors and the young whippersnappers,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
getting together. Like that's the special sauce for success.
Yeah.
And of course, all throughout Reading, there's lots of people in rooms, meeting, talking, that sort of thing. That's what matters about this, is that it is growing.
Yeah.
It is a constantly expanding thing, and that makes it exciting.
Yeah, you said a couple things there that are important. Not that everything you say is important, Sean.
Of course.
But we do need, it is growing, and the Venture Hub and the EDC and the companies that are supporting EDC, they're also integral to technology making sense, startups making sense, us growing. But it is growing. And the more we have of startups and people trying to take a chance, the more we need of the people with wisdom to help mentor and promote and help solve their problems, because there are a lot of us out there, and I'm being one of them, that have learned the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
So you little whippersnappers don't have to. Of course, you guys won't listen anyways, but
Sure.
yeah. But so I think this is a little bit of an invitation, isn't it, Sean? When we say, "Come in."
It is. Yeah, exactly. Well, there were people there whom no one knew. I
Right.
mean, they just walked in,
Right.
and before long, they're talking to people who know the solutions to whatever problems they have, and
Mhm.
it's kind of heartwarming to see,
Yeah.
actually. Just like, oh, they're doing it. They're being plugged into something greater than themselves.
Yeah.
So that's that, and that's a monthly event.
Right. Oh, so it is monthly.
It is
and
monthly,
who's putting that
yes.
on?
I believe it is just the Shasta EDC, but it's, I mean, it's Josh David Miller,
Yeah.
Richard Anderton, a couple of those guys. It really is just kind of a meeting of friends,
Yeah.
but everyone's invited, and that's
Right.
the whole point of
Yeah.
it.
So we'll try to get the information for that on our
Exactly.
website, digitalrevolutionshow.com, so that you all can look into it and come find it. Now, I want to talk about a startup that you find particularly interesting.
Oh yeah,
Who is that?
that is Book Rally.
Okay, so what is Book Rally?
So Book Rally is a crowdfunding platform for people who want to publish books, basically.
And why would you care about that?
Well, anyone who listened to the last show would know that before I was doing this, I spent a year trying to go down the rabbit hole of traditional publishing, and I really didn't get anywhere. And so Book Rally was so interesting to me, and I wanted to interview them, and I did. I talked to Ryan Springer, their founder and CEO, on Thursday, and he really opened my eyes about the alternatives to traditional publishing.
Okay, so let me jump in. I know you've got a lot to talk about, and I think you're going to write an article about this, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we'll have the article there. But again, okay, so this is the other half of why I'm asking you to go out and find out about these startups and report to us. Because here's the deal. Technology has changed some things.
Exactly.
And they're big things. But it didn't change everything, right? We still run businesses. We still need to meet our customers' needs. What technology's changed is that there's now more ways to look at, can you say skinning a cat? There's more ways to look at solving a problem. And so
Exactly.
you have to identify how you might use technology to do that, not just say the problem can't be solved. because really they're looking at helping people get published in a completely different way, aren't they?
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about the way that what's different, or what they do. Explain
Okay,
it.
so I mean, first of all, it is crowdfunding.
Mhm.
But second of all, if you publish a book on Amazon, which is kind of, the go-to for e-publishing nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
they take a lot of your money, basically, and they can do that because no one can compete with Amazon in the world of self-publishing. You can't
Right.
really put your own book on your own site and offer the same low prices. You can't. I mean, Amazon is a giant. It does everything right.
Mm-hmm.
And so they take 55% of your book's cost, and then, they'll also slash the price of your book every so often, and you just kind of have to deal with that. That's the cost of doing business. What this offers is basically a way for authors to keep a lot more of their own money in selling their books, and also a way for them to offer value to people who support them through the crowdfunding campaign, whether that's creating t-shirts or web content or
Gotcha.
Coffee with the author.
So how long have they been in business?
Since November of 2015.
Okay, and I think I saw a presentation that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
You need to get them on a show.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, let me see if you can get them
I
on the
agree.
show. Okay, so what else? Do you got anything else to leave us with in your findings out there?
Well, I think those are the two main things. I just want to say, like you said, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
Going back to
Can we
the
say that?
cat skinning thing.
Yeah.
That's a mainstay of our show, I guess. Cat
Okay,
skinning.
all right.
But I'm not saying Book Rally is the holy grail, but I think every author basically owes it to themselves to look into things like that. To
Okay.
look at Book Rally.
You brilliant little young whippersnapper, because what you just said is actually the truth. So when we're talking about technology and the internet, I'm not just talking about websites and PPC and things that sound normal. What I'm saying is there's an entire new economy
Exactly.
of how to solve problems and get things done that the internet's made available. And every business, every startup, every dreamer, they owe it to themselves, and frankly, it's incumbent upon them to go find the right way to use the internet and technology in their business. It's not going away.
That's
Right.
exactly right.
It's there, and it's not all about finding a customer who comes to your website and does a lead. They become the lead, or they buy from you. It's not all about that. It's how does the internet impact your business? What other things can you do? Accounting, different ways to go to market, different ways to find help. All those kind of things are what startups are doing now, right?
Exactly.
They're finding those fissures in the way people go to market or the way internet's used, and they're using those to create whole new businesses.
Exactly.
And is that and as I explain that right now, is that something you saw happening, or did it just go, oh yeah, that's right, Joe? That's right.
Well, I mean, that is what happened.
Yeah.
But that is what I see constantly with different startups. They say, what if it was this way?
And then they did go figure it out.
Exactly. And before you know it, for everyone else, there is a new path to success.
Yeah, so what if as a community, what if as Shasta County, and if you look at our map, the census map, you'll see that we're this greener square, and all these other lighter green counties are around us, and that darker green is how many. Can you guys all see on Facebook when Jared says, "You have 1 minute, shut up"? That darker green square shows that we have more people here. Now imagine if that this whole county of businesses all focused and stood up to make themselves complete shining examples of how to use the internet to be more powerful and more impactful. What would happen? That'd be crazy. Okay, so you are listening to the Digital Revolution Show. We thank you for listening. We're about ready to go into break, and when I come back, we'll have Chauncey with us. So we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Happy holidays from our family here at KC 1460 AM.
Good.
Cool. Yeah, that was good.
Come on in, Chauncey. We'll talk about skinning cats.
Yeah.
Told me it was going to be radio, so I didn't exactly, comb my hair. Oh, that's all right. You didn't either.
Yeah.
I'm just messing.
Yeah.
Um,
I always look like a wild bag.
have you ever met in
That's cool. I
person,
feel
you
good
guys?
about it.
I think I've seen you come into the office once.
Yeah.
I didn't know who you were back then.
And just so you know, before you tease me or anything like that, you are live and they are listening right now, and my listeners will be mad at you for teasing me.
That's not true.
That's not true.
I mean, they are black, but they won't be mad.
Yeah, so how you doing?
Good.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll sit here.
Okay.
And you just be the brilliant you that you are.
Yeah, I didn't left my cliff notes at home. So
You don't need them. You don't need
I'm not
them.
sure what my part is. Luckily, you can't see how disheveled I am from your intense camera system.
You look great.
Okay, so essentially we're going to go over, the goal here is to get any brilliance out of your brain into the business world that we possibly can. And so what we try to do is we try to work through a little bit who you are, how you got here, and how you fit, so that people have some context of, you and I can do this, anybody can do it.
Right.
I want to talk a little bit about how you came up with what you're going to teach in the class and why it matters. And then get into what you do with your business and all that kind of stuff. So those 3 points I want to hit. It's easy. Easy peasy cheesy.
It's a 5 minutes. What are you doing with the rest of
Yeah.
Talk about skinning cats.
Yeah.
Nothing like a violent colloquialism
I know.
to get their attention.
And I couldn't think of a better one. Hey! The camera adds 30 pounds. I just noticed that.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Someone
the
say
camera.
something mean on Facebook.
No, I just saw my video.
Oh.
That's funny. Somebody say something to me.
No, and
You go, whoa, man.
that's my shirt, not my belly.
So
So
Mr. Potato Head had Mr. Potato Head on. That's great.
Mr. Potato Head, Mr. Potato Head on.
Yeah. Well, I always say that the more I gain weight, the more I start to look like a potato. Should I move this to face me, or just...
Yes, you're gonna want to talk right into that thing.
Oh yeah. Should have been on that.
Hmm?
I said I should have been on that.
No, you got everything else. You got
Yeah,
stuff going on.
Very close to it. Like
I
that.
gotta like push the button.
Yeah, I would push the wrong one. Just so you know.
So I really want to play this, but I'm not going to.
Why?
Revenge of the Nerds. Nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
do it.
Yeah, you should.
I don't care. I don't care. Wait, but are you making a reference?
Hey, you gotta play it when the
Yeah.
violinist comes out.
Huh?
That's the best part.
Wait, when?
When the violinist comes out.
Okay, that's wrong that you know this.
Well, we got.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, but some things go in your brain and kind of go away. Apparently not this.
Unfortunately, it's not movies. It's when to take the trash out and stuff like that.
All right,
Yeah.
here we go.
9-6. Thanks a lot.
Okay, welcome back. You're listening to the Digital Revolution Show. I'm your guest, Joe McKenna, Joe the web guy. Sean, intern at large, is here.
Hello.
Jared is misplaying the music he meant to play. And then I've got my guest Chauncey, which we're going to get into in a second. I do want to point out that Jared was just about ready to play music for Revenge of the Nerds as we were coming back onto the show. And I thought it was funny at first until I realized that he was referencing the three people sitting here. Yeah, so thanks, man. Okay, so we're back. In this segment, our guest is Chauncey Hawthorne. How do I say it?
Hallworth.
Hallworth.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with names.
That's right. Hawthorne sounds
And I've only known you for 10 years.
regal.
Yeah, I've only known you for 10 years.
With a name like Chauncey, you don't really need a last name.
Yeah, so Chauncey, before we get started on who you are, what you're doing, and why it matters to anybody, what is your company? What's the name of your company?
My company is Archaic Media.
Okay, what do you do there? What is it?
Just marketing, advertising, but mainly search engine optimization.
Yeah, and you have quite a few clients.
I do.
Yeah, which is kind of cool because, I mean, I've known you for like 10 years. I know you when you got into marketing.
You did? Yeah.
Yeah.
When I first met you, I think I had just figured out how to create a ordered list in HTML. So
Yeah. So in kind of a weird way, you and I are kind of like becoming the old guys in this thing.
I jokingly refer to myself as the world's oldest web developer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in years, maybe not maturity if you're at all like me.
Wisdom, however.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. 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 I mean, because that's kind of interesting. I've got some questions for you here, and I want to go over it. But in a way, you and I had a similar coming up through the web world because neither of us set out to do it. We weren't nerds who loved necessarily web design or coding or anything like that as we're growing up, right? You weren't either, right?
No, I was a musician, and so building websites, I spent years doing audio recording, and as anybody who's familiar with computers knows, that really one program is very similar to another. So when you move across, it's not too difficult. It's good that way, and really I went into it as a way to sort of facilitate my music.
Right. Were you working with us when you, because we worked at the same company, were you working with us when you were, is that how you found out about web development and all that, or did you start it before you came to work for us?
No, actually I was working for Bog Bean Books and Music, and
Yeah.
I was a CD resurfacer, and I had a machine, and basically you put the CDs in the machine and you push the button and you basically get a 3-minute break every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So I put the stuff in, I hit the button, and now I have 3 minutes to kill, and so I sort of taught myself to build websites while...
3 minutes at a time?
Right.
You ought to write a book, The 3-Minute Web Developer. So, it's kind of funny because I think that we have two audiences, and at least I feel like I'm always talking to two different audiences, even outside the radio show. One is the business world. I want them to understand these skills and the way technology impacts their business, and I want them to know the rules and tools and all that. And so you and I are going to get into that a little bit. But the other flip side is I think I'm talking to the outcasts, the people who life didn't go the way that Mary Poppins and Warren June Cleaver said it was supposed to, the people who school didn't work for them. I think I'm talking to those people too, because the need for what we know how to do is in such demand that if you're willing to, you can build a life out of it, right?
Absolutely, and it especially, those people, I was listening to some talk radio the other day, and they were referring to people with ADD and all these things as having the Edison gene. And basically, if you can wrangle your dreamerness into the ability to follow through with a schedule and a checklist, you can probably be fairly successful. And that's why the tech industry is really good for a lot of people, because these people who sort of march to their own drum, it presents them a lot of opportunities. That's not to say you don't have to fight your own desire for, your schedule or something like that, but it is a way to sort of meet halfway if you're the consummate dreamer or something like that.
Yeah, and would you describe yourself as a consummate dreamer?
Oh, absolutely. I hopped from job to job until I landed in this, and found myself a home. I used to joke about how I defy anybody to come up with a job that I haven't had. And some guy at a party is just all, have you ever been a lumberjack? And I'm all, yeah, I was a lumberjack.
Well, you look like a lumberjack, so.
yeah, well, some things, if it ain't broke.
Yeah. So let's carry that on. I think in the next segment, I want to talk about what it means for business, and I want to talk about some of the things that are really important in those key aspects that this is. That search engine marketing and web development and marketing, it really isn't a mystery. There are rules and there are tools you have to follow, and I want to talk about that. But before that, while we're talking about the individuals, the dreamers, the people who want a different life, let's talk about the class you're going to teach.
Okay.
So you're, I may have done this entire school, which teaches web coding and other things. I may have done this whole thing just as an excuse to have a search engine marketing class. I'm not kidding. This might be the most important class I could ever think of, because the bottom line is there's 4.5 billion people on the internet every day, and there's 4.5 billion Google searches every day, right? Or is that trillion? Might even be trillion. No, billion. And so the bottom line is that people are using Google and they're using search, which means your website has to be right. All these things have to be right so that the customers can find you and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's all super important. But now, as a student or as a dreamer, the fact that that important stuff's out there, that means that you got a chance for a job, right? That means you got a chance for a life.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Not
so
only a chance at a life, but a chance to be successful at something that you really
yeah,
feel confident and good about. It's a, you know, there's still a good 80% of just a hard checklist, you know, it's not all
It's not easy.
dreaming, but it's definitely more abstract thought than your average job.
yeah. Okay, so tell me about the course. What are people going to learn in this course, and why are we teaching what we're teaching in this course? So what are they going to learn?
Well, really, I think the issue with SEO is that, and SEO is search engine optimization. I think the real issue with SEO is that a lot of people know they need it, but they really have no idea of what it is. They understand that it helps them to show up ahead of their competitors in the search engines, but they don't really understand what goes into it. And so I think this is really going to help people understand the concept of what exactly is going into it. And it's really sort of virtual versions of old school marketing practices, is really a lot of them. So they're not so abstract that people go, well, I can't wrap my brain around that, you know. Really, when you put it into terms of, you know, old school marketing practices, it's really no different. You know, are they reading it? Are they using it? Are they utilizing it?
I
Are
love that
they
you
sharing
said that,
it? You know?
right? Because I love that you said that, because it isn't a mystery. Guys out there, if you have a business or if you want to learn this stuff, it's not a mystery. And in a way, a lot of things haven't changed. It's almost just a delivery. Humans still want to learn about products. They still want to buy the right thing. They still want people to respect them for what they bought. You know, I mean, we're still humans, and business is still business. All that happened is there's more channels that the customer can use in learning about you. So you have to figure out, it's just like anything else. You got to figure out, are your customers there? What channel are they using? And then make sure they give a crap. Can I
Right.
say that on radio? Make sure they give a crap about what you have there. If I can, I said it again.
Who is your target audience and how are they getting to you, and make sure that you utilize that. You know, part of the confusion is that for years that wasn't the case. There were tons of loopholes. You know,
Yeah.
the most obvious one would be keyword stuffing in the footer with text the same color as the footer background.
Right.
But search engines did a good job of putting that aside, and everybody knows, the terms we use are white hat, black hat, and gray hat, and white hat are the good guys, black hat are the bad guys, just like any cowboy flick.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who's dabbled in black hat knows that as soon as an update comes out, you're going to get a lot of angry phone calls. Those who work within the white hat and you're doing well for your client, and then an update comes out, and all
They
of
do
a
better.
sudden, all your clients are moving up, and you're all right on.
You're like, of course I know what I'm doing.
There's rewards.
Yeah.
Right. There's rewards for being moral, which how often is there a reward
Yeah,
for being
that's-
moral in business?
That can be a whole show, because the internet really does require morality. If you're going to be an internet web provider, or you're going to go into this as a career, at some point the internet will equalize you if you're not being moral.
Absolutely.
And so, again, I love that people can actually see you bossing me around now, Jared. Well, they can't, darn it. Let's come back and talk about this for the business and get into some specifics. You are listening to the Digital Revolution Show, and we will be right back.
It's the B&T Dish Network Veteran
In case you
Challenge. You know us. We're your local guys. Don't call the
This guy's
800 number.
multitasking
We want to
master.
give a gift of free satellite service to an
Hang on,
active
Glenn, the
military
phone.
family this winter.
Yeah, him.
Here's how
Yeah.
it works.
We get
For
Carl
every
on the
10
line.
new services
Oh, good.
B&T satellite
I guess he
receives, we'll
owns
be
the
sending
station. He can
service
talk to
for
us.
one active military family in our community to
Yeah.
give a full year of service free. That's right. They'll pay for their service for a
Yeah.
year. And that's not all. For every person who signs up during this winter campaign, you'll get $100. Take advantage of the amazing Flex plan, starting at only $39.99 a month. Here's a way for you to support our military this holiday season and New Year with a gift that they can enjoy all year long. Call us today, 241-3474. That's 241-3474. Or stop by our office located at 1007 Dana
My
Drive
wife.
in Reading.
Ah.
B&T
I like
Satellite.
don't cut the red
We're the
wire.
local guys and
Yeah.
we care about
The
our
walls are covered in
customers.
snarky notes from some engineer or something.
If the American
That's
people
probably pretty
ever
great.
allow private
Are you
banks
just
to control
snarker?
the issuance
Some
of
of
the
these are
currency,
actually
first
for
by
me.
Oh, that's
inflation,
you.
then by
For you or from you?
the
For me.
corporation
When I
will
first
work
started,
around them with
if I
the
screwed something
of
up,
property
the Bob would
until
be
the
like,
children
"All
wake
right,
up homeless on the
don't ever
continent
do it
of
again.
father's
Here's the
conflict."
We
instructions.
hold
Yeah.
these truths to be self-evident
That's
that all
funny.
men are
I screw up
created
dialing on a
that they
cell
are
phone.
endowed
I don't
by
have
the
any
Creator
idea
with
how that
certain
happens.
Unalienable rights.
Yes.
That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Revolution has started.
Sovereign Minds, new time, Sunday 9 a.m. to noon.
Founded in 1995, GI Pathology is the only physician-owned laboratory in the United States dedicated solely to the
Great
practice of gastrointestinal and liver
that,
pathology. The company provides the
Yeah,
highest
great.
quality GI
So how do you like it?
pathology diagnosis made
Yeah.
exclusively by one of our fellowship-trained
Everybody says it's easy.
gastrointestinal and
I
liver
stress for a week
pathologists.
for every show.
GI pathology
Well, you're
orders
running the
results
thing.
to its
He's like-
non-telephonic
You got the reins.
database.
Yeah, he's like, he says, I say, you ready? He goes, yeah, it's total low pressure environment. I'm like, bro.
Well, for me, you get to, keep everything going on the rails.
Whatever.
Theater in December with a Christmas celebration. Aaron Neville lends his angelic voice to timeless holiday standards, capturing all the
Alright.
joy, nostalgia, and spirit of the season at the Cascade Theater Tuesday, December 13th. Don't miss Aaron Neville in Reading. Get tickets today at 243-8877 or cascadetheater.org.
When you're looking at a pet to your family, Haven Humane Society is a place to start. Hi, this is Mark from Haven to tell you that shelter pets make the best pets. With kittens, puppies, dogs, cats, bunnies, guinea
20
pigs,
seconds.
hamsters, snakes,
Okay,
birds,
you
and
bossed around all over the place. Hi, everybody.
Fit for your family. We also provide education, training, spaying and neutering, dog licensing, and so much more. If you're looking for a way to help, our amazing volunteers have fun with the animals while helping us to save lives. For more information, call 241-1653 or visit havenhumane.org. Like us on Facebook and follow
Listen,
our
look at
progress
this.
as we work towards a day with no more homeless pets in the North State.
All right, welcome back to the Digital Revolution Show. I'm your host, Joe McKenna, Joe the Web Guy, and I've got my guest here, Chauncey Hayworth, and my intern at large. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Chauncey Haworth.
Haworth, Hayworth.
Chauncey, the other web guy.
Chauncey, yeah, let's do that, Chauncey the Web Guy. I will forever mess up names. Going to apologize to my audience now.
I've got it my whole life. It's not just.
Yeah, and also I think I want to take back everything I've ever said about how great technology is, because right now my wife, my partner, my sister, my friends are all bossing me around on technology. So I'm answering their text as we're doing this. So real quick, we do have a call, and hold on real quick before, is he on? Hold on real quick before we put him on. We do have a call, but I want to answer one question that came in on text, and that was who should take this class, the search engine optimization class. Really anybody. You cannot stop learning about this stuff. I guarantee Chauncey's going to teach you things that you never knew before. But if you're a beginner, this class is certainly for you, because you'll take them from the beginning and get them going, right, Chauncey?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, let's take our call since he owns a radio station. Hey, Carl. That's right. Yeah. Am I in trouble for something? Yeah. 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 I know. Thank you. Yeah. I know, and that's yeah. So well, Carl, thanks for calling in, and let's point that out too. Good point. I do get credit for this, but it's our incredible instructors. They're amazing, and they're the ones doing it. And it is my wife who makes sure she's there every day, getting cookies and food, and making sure everything happens. I get to be the guy that goes on radio and talks about it, why my wonderful team makes it happen. So thank you for reminding me to make sure we give all them the credit they deserve. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Carl. All right. Yeah. Have a good weekend. Okay. Well, that was awesome.
That was.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah. I mean, it is awesome. But the thing is, these skills are in such high demand. It's funny. I mean, I get it, and I love that we have the instructors, and I would love to have school. But the school really is only possible because the rest of the world needs these skills so bad, right?
Yeah, I guess the call to action to Reading could be that, if you don't put these graduates to work, they're going to have to find jobs elsewhere.
Well, it's funny you say that, okay? Because that's what made us think about this radio show, is I need to challenge our business community to kind of knock the dust off, pick themselves up, and get back in the fight. Because I hear so many businesses saying, well, we tried that and it didn't work. It's too hard, it costs too much. All these things about putting the internet to work for their business. And I think to myself, well, what if you would have done that with the rest of your business? What if you hired one employee, and that employee didn't work, and you quit, right? You could just shut down your business because that employee was no good.
Well, that's one thing that I've thought is that one of the possible demographics for the class would be business owners, just solely so they can have a concept of SEO, so when they go to hire an SEO, they know what they're talking about, they know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily know how to do it themselves.
Yeah, but they can manage it.
But, they can manage it and have a concept and confidently deal with the situation.
Okay, it's like he's reading out of the book we're writing, isn't it?
Are we writing
It
a
is.
book?
We are writing a book.
Yeah.
It will be awesome.
And so
Apparently I'm ghostwriting it?
Yes, apparently. And so, yeah, right. And that is the point of the show. That is the point of the class, is we want businesses to boldly come back to the table and confidently put the internet to work. And for a business to confidently do something, they've got to know the facts. They've got to know how's it going to impact them. What should it cost? How many businesses right now are hiring someone to do some work for them, and they don't even know what it should cost?
Oh, absolutely.
All of them. Almost none of them really know what it should cost, how long it should take. They're stuck trusting whoever it is that's talking to them. And so this shows to help start breaking that down. But like you just said, if we start talking about the classes, what you just said is absolutely true. The businesses could take these classes, and it doesn't mean they're going to be the doobie who's out doing that stuff. But it does mean they'll know how to work with and train that person like they do the other aspects of their business, right?
Right. You can walk away with a generalized working knowledge. Now, a large part of teaching people is, teaching them to like to learn and to how to learn. So, people who are web developers or going into SEO are definitely going to take it to a higher level. But let's say you are a business person coming through, you can understand all of the elements so that when you hire somebody, you have a grasp of the time frame that it's going to take and
right.
what exactly they should and shouldn't be doing. And there's quite a bit of SEO work that is not done on your website. So you don't see it happen in front of you, but you do see the bill show up.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, and you don't have any idea. Yeah.
Right, it's good to know what's going on out there, and then you'll have the ability to check it.
Yeah. Okay, now let me put you on the spot on a couple things.
All right.
No, I'm not going to ask your shoe size or that kind of thing. So,
10 and a half.
yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So what are...
Is that a wow?
different show.
They're never out of my shoes,
different
so
show.
I figure it's fairly normal.
Yeah, different show. What do you think some of the biggest mistakes are that you see businesses making when it comes to search engine marketing, SEO, whatever we want to call it?
The biggest mistakes are, I would say, well, the obvious one